Testing, testing.
I think I posted
Okay, there we go.
it.
All right, sorry
Uh,
about that, everyone. I was having some issues. I don't know why StreamYard does this, Streamlabs does this, but anyways, we got it fixed. So let's go ahead and open up to the main screen, and we will say hello to everyone, and we will get into the Jubilees. So let me bring that down. Welcome everybody to another episode. I hope y'all are all having a great Sabbath day. Yeah, so for those who don't know, Jubilees episodes are free-flowing conversations. There's no pointed topic of discussion. We will just all bring up things that we saw over the month, over the time since we've had a Jubilees. And so, of course, those in chats are always welcome to join us if you'd like to come talk to us and kind of share your pieces of the puzzle. If not, you can also do it in chat in the comments. We really do appreciate that. But before we get into it any further, let's go ahead and say hello to everybody. We got our dear sister Marcia back with us again. How you doing?
Very good, Vader. And looking forward, kinda, because I'll learn a lot from you guys.
Sweet. Well, glad that you're here. What were you gonna say?
Nothing.
All right, no worries. Sweet. Let's jump over to the next person. We got our brother Robert with us. How you doing, Robert?
Good, thank you. Yeah, we learn something every day, whether it be little or small.
You sound all right. It is a little hard to hear you, but welcome, brother. Yeah, it was sounding. Yeah, it sounded fine earlier. So if you switch anything, if you want to switch it back, yeah, let's. Kind of muffled to me, but we'll let you figure that out. We'll jump over to Kyle Ethereal Creations. Welcome, brother. Thanks for joining us again. Oh, I'm getting the same thing from him. Yeah, I'm not getting audio from you.
Stable internet connections is what it says. Oh. You too?
It's not what I wanted.
Stable or unstable?
It said unstable.
Now you're good. Now I can hear you.
Now you're good.
I don't want. There we go. If you'd like to re-say hello, brother, because no one could hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for having me on. I'm glad being here. Yeah, glad to be here.
Sweet, and this is your first Jubilee, so welcome, brother. It's this one's pretty fun because we don't have to read scripture, we don't have to look at anything. It's whatever people want to bring up or whatever topics kind of come to their mind. So it's very fun. And then we also have Frankie B with us here, an OG. Welcome, brother. How you doing?
Happy Jubilees and happy Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Check and see if you can open that video while we're doing this. I think they deleted it. Because on my end, it's saying it got deleted. So as we're going along, just check it out and see if you can.
Did you send it in Discord?
Yeah, I sent it to your the real Vader there.
Okay. All right, sweet.
I can't open it. So let's get it on. Let's talk about everything and anything.
Yep. So before we do, let's go ahead and we will get into the housekeeping, and then we will move on from there. So as always, I want to shout out Chris and Liz from Take on the World. They share their platform with us and allow us to share our pieces of the puzzle with their family and their community. So we really do appreciate that. They have lots of great content creators on there, so definitely go check them out. It's worth a view, and they always have more than enough videos for you to watch. Definitely recommend you give them a subscription and check out what they have to offer. That being said, we also have our channel, which looks a little different than it did last week. As you see, we updated the logo, the channel logo. Now we are still going to be using the round table for the round table, but this is the overall logo for the whole channel. Thank you to those that brought us back up over 900. We're 901, so only 99 away from that 1K. Remember, guys, at that 1K, we're going to be giving away a free brand new Sefer Bible. All you have to do is be subscribed and have left a comment on any of the videos, and that will enter you in to win. So if you don't have a Sefer Bible or would like to bless someone with a Sefer Bible because you already have one, definitely show us some support and give us some love there. And as we always do, we read the comments out from the last video. So I'm going to pull that up and then we will get on to the rest of it. Oops, wrong one. And we'll go from there. So for those who've been following along, we have been currently talking about Messiah and the promised high priest, and the way that he fulfilled that role and fulfilled the scriptures. Not meaning he got rid of the scriptures, but he was that person who received that promise for us, and we do appreciate that. And let's go ahead and load this. And man, it is taking so long. I've never seen something take so long in my life. But yeah, let me pull. And as always, we read the comments from the last video here at the beginning of the video. So if you had something to say but didn't get to say it while we were, while we were here, this is your place to do it. Also, remember we have an after show after every episode in our Discord, which I will get to in just a moment. Man, this is taking. I've never seen it take so long in my life. Oh, that's not the right video. Let's try that one more time. Okay, I brought that one up. Taking forever to load. That's insane. Apologize for the wait, guys. I think it's Owen's channel, to be honest. But okay, that one's loading. Let's see about this one. Okay, we got two over here. Sorry, guys. It's just going very slow when it comes to loading for whatever reason.
What's without technical difficulties?
I don't even have that many things open. Like I had more things open last week and it's running slower, so whatever that means. Okay, well, all that wait for this. Sweet. Let me go ahead and pull that up for everyone. So no comments over on Take on the World. Just remember, guys, comments really help the channel grow. So if you want to support the channel, it's a great way to do so. Over on the Circle of the Earth Fellowship, we did get a couple comments, a handful of comments, so we do appreciate those, and we will go ahead and read those off. As you can see, for whatever reason, it wants to go really slow. But yeah, so our first comment here on the bottom: fornication is relations without intent to commit to a person both spiritually and physically, which is marriage. Marriage is not ceremony, pagan pomp that it has become. Yeah, I totally agree. And fornication can happen with yourself, right? It doesn't have to just be with someone else. And you know, the son clarified what the father was saying when he said, hey, to even look at a woman with lust in your eyes, you've already committed adultery, which is a type of fornication. So awesome. Thank you for that comment, Joanna. I can't stand when it does that. Robert here on the panel also said, you awesome job on the intro, bro. Appreciate that. R.A. Reed Tacky said episode 50. Woohoo. Yeah, it's pretty awesome to be that many episodes, you know, with all our processions and jubilees. Still being at 50 is pretty cool. So appreciate that, brother. Let's see here. My lovely wife said, great show, everyone. Appreciate that. Beautiful. Can't stand that it does that. Static Kingdom said, had to leave early. I'll rewatch again tomorrow. Great job, everyone. Y'all bless. Thank you, brother. The new C.E.F intro is fire. Very cool. Thank you, Kyle. We appreciate. Oh, is that you, Kyle? Zealot Kendrick 3842. Kind of looks like you. If that isn't Kyle, thank you. If it is Kyle, thank you, Kyle. We also have Country Dad saying, I agree with the intro. Was amazing. Good job, everyone. Thank you. And then TD6259 said, shalom to all who live under his amazing dome. Praise Yah for giving us Yeshua Messiah. Absolutely. Sweet, guys. Thank you all for those comments. It really does help. It really does help with the algorithm and getting our show in front of other people. and helping the community grow, which means more pieces of the puzzle for the table gives us
Shame
a better look. So as I was discussing before, we do have Discord. Looks like my video is doing that again. Interesting. So we do have Discord. The link is in the description. You can also copy that last little segment, and that will give you a link to the channel. And we do, like I said, we do have the after show that we do after every episode. So if you want to join that and kind of talk stuff off the air without having to censor ourselves, that's a great place to do it. We also have our official merch. Now this is changing a little bit, and I am adding some new merch. As you see, we got the new. It's so annoying that it does that. We got the new logo on a t-shirt as well as a mug, and we also have some other designs and some other products that they're going to be on. So this is a way that if you want to financially support the channel, you're getting something out of it. It's not just you giving, which we do appreciate, which you can do, through this menu, but we would rather you have something for something. So just keep that in your back of mind if you'd like to support it more than your comments and your likes and your shares and your subscriptions. And like always, we like to read the verse of the day over on Bible Gateway. Bible Gateway is a great resource. I definitely suggest you check into it if you haven't. It has all the different versions. It's so annoying that I can't show that. It has all the different versions. Definitely worth the checkout. And yeah, so let's go ahead and read this verse, and then we'll get on to the rest of it. We're almost done, and we'll get into the actual Jubilee. So James 1:21, this is out of King James Version. It says, "Wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive the meekness, the engrafted word, which is able to save your souls." Amen to that. And that's a lot of stuff. This is exactly what we're kind of dealing with in the nowadays. And that latter part is a little hard to do in our world, but that's why we get together. That's why we have these fellowships in these communities, so that we can grow not only mentally and intellectually, but spiritually as well. So sweet. All right, let's see here. That's that. So another resource I suggest is Bible Hub. They have a lot of different information. They have the different Septuagints. They have the different concordances, and of course all the different versions. Great other resource to check out. And then another resource that I really like is the sacredtext.com. They have the Apocryphal. They have a whole bunch of other books to check through. I definitely suggest you do. Two of those books that have pretty much changed my life in a lot of beautiful ways is the Book of Enoch as well as the Book of Jubilees. Definitely suggest you read these if you have only been kind of stuck in the 66 canon. Yeah. Sweet.
The other thing would be the 12 patriarchs.
Yeah, I haven't got it. I haven't got that into myself, but I have read some passages from it, just not as a whole. But definitely interested in it for sure. All right, sweet. So let's kind of get into the Jubilee. So just to explain one more time, any conversation that you'd like to bring up, feel free to bring up. I have some things to share. Hopefully y'all have some things to share, and then we'll have some conversations that are sparked along the way. So I hope y'all are ready and up for it. I'm going to just say hello to chat real quick. Let's see here. Country Dad. Oh, let me pull this on. There we go. So Country Dad said after show was great. Yes, actually Sean joined us on our after show last Saturday. So that was pretty fun. We got a little bit of a sneak peek in a way to his upcoming projects, and just got to ask him a whole bunch of questions. It was really funny because at one point everyone was like, "Okay, we're gonna go to bed," and Sean was like, "All right, guys, I'm getting off," and then everyone else asked him another question, and it was like another hour-long conversation.
It's true. It went on for about another half hour or so because
yeah.
And Robert went to bed.
Yeah. Welcome to my beautiful wife. Welcome, Robert and Country Dad. Glad you like the new logo. Welcome, Kyle, Marcia, TD. Well, thank you for your support here as well in the comments. It really does mean a lot. Sweet. All right. Well, let's kind of get into it. We kind of went over everything that we needed to for the housekeeping. I made this little thing. Hopefully, y'all will do as it says, and it's just a little miniature of the logo building, and letting you all know to like, to share, comment, and subscribe. So hopefully y'all enjoyed that. Sweet. Okay, let's get into it. Anyone? Oh, well, let's start out with this because I have some things to share about it. So this movie's going around. It's called The Sound of Freedom, and there's within our community, the truth community, I see a lot of I see a dichotomy being created. I see people pro for it and people against it, and for various reasons and things. So, for those that don't know, it's a movie about trafficking of humans, and specifically children, and specifically in a mature manner of what's going on. I'm kind of limiting my words here because we are on YouTube. But to say that it follows, an investigator who investigates these things. Now, it was produced and I believe directed by Mel Gibson. And what was his name, Kyle? I totally forget the actor's name.
Jim Caviezel.
Yeah, Jay Caviezel. So he is known for playing many roles, one of them being in The Passion of the Christ, playing Yeshua himself, which I want to talk about that with y'all about that topic. But anyways, so as it basically goes on, so the dichotomy that I'm seeing is people who are, seeing it as like, oh, this is a revolutionary movie. And then other people on the, in the same community kind of saying, well, this is Hollywood. So if it's coming out of Hollywood, it had to go through Hollywood. So what I will say, okay, I need to find that while we're talking about it. But I think it's really interesting that when, let's say I scroll through YouTube Reels, right? The people who were talking about the prideful community are typically conservatives. But yet those conservatives are the ones that are sharing these images and these videos and these ideas about, certain readings at libraries and schools and things like that. Now, while I don't agree with that community in any way, shape, or form, I do think it's interesting that the people that are propagating the most of that imagery and videos are the so-called conservative Christians that are sharing it, like, oh, hey, everybody, look at this. And I'm going to play a sketch with Owen Benjamin a little bit later. I will give another warning there. There is weak words in it. It's comedy, so, be a little okay with it. But yeah, let's kind of talk about it. I know some of y'all haven't heard about it. I know some of you have heard about it. If we want to kind of go down the line and say what y'all kind of a general idea of what y'all think, I'd love to hear it. Whoever wants to start.
I know nothing about it.
Yeah, I think it's a good movie. It's an eye opener. It's getting a lot of pushback from the mainstream, that's a definite red flag. They're trying to play it down like it's not real, like it, This dude Tim, forget his last name, Tim Birdman. He's been doing it for years, and they've had this film in the bucket for the last 5 years, and they've went through so much to get it out, and they finally released it, and they had to release it through small theaters and through word of mouth. They didn't get any advertising, and they were the #1 film in the last 2 weeks. So
Well,
kudos to them, and I think it's I think it's
it
about
went through
time.
Hollywood. It went through Hollywood,
Now,
and
I don't think Lone
and
Star
then the
is
mainstream-
Hollywood.
and then the mainstream doesn't want to talk about it. I think it's a big distraction, and I think there's manipulation with it all.
Well, for sure. And Frankie, think about this. So, what is one of the known? What is the biggest well-known group of pedophiles in the world?
Hollywood.
But besides Hollywood, what's
all
another
your
one?
politicians, all the elites, the 1%.
Well, think just, or if anyone else has a guess, think about people who are known. What was that, Kyle?
The Vatican.
The Vatican, the Catholic Church, right?
Right.
So very interesting that a Catholic produced the movie, a Catholic starred in the movie, and it's specifically about child abuse. Where the Catholic Church has given people title changes and protected them from those type of incidences, right? So, okay, that's one interesting thing to me. And then what Marsha brought up is specifically Hollywood. Now, what he was talking about, for those who don't know, is basically this movie was coming out. I did get this information from my wife third hand, so research it yourself, look it up. But basically, what she explained to me was that it was being produced under Fox. Disney bought Fox. When they found out about the movie, they shelved the movie. And then after lawsuits and litigation, the movie was allowed to be released. So yes, there is truth to that part. There is truth that there's not been a lot of press coverage in the mainstream media or within advertisement. And yes, the movie has gotten, where it has through word of mouth. That being said, it's very interesting to me, like Marsha said, is it went through Hollywood. These are Hollywood actors. These are Hollywood cameramen. These are Hollywood, there's a lot of, so even if you were to say, well, no, this is a separate group. Okay, I can give that, but then let's look at this separate group. The separate group are Catholics, people who are not speaking out about the child abuse happening within their own church. They're talking about it in a foreign land in Colombia that has little to do with America. And it kind of pushes the buck of the problem, where the problem is, out of America and into a foreign country. Now, don't get me wrong, multiple foreign countries still have open air slave trade. They still have slaves. None of that has really changed. But what my point is to me, them pushing it to Colombia is kind of pushing it out of America, out of this. That's a problem there, not a problem here. Now, I could.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. But I think it came out of Lone Star, right?
What do you mean Lone Star? I don't know what that is.
I thought Lone Star was a private producing entity that does all kinds of Christian movies. Did it come out of Lone Star?
I have no idea, to be honest. But but even if that's the truth, okay, it came out on Lone Star. It wasn't made by the Hollywood. It was made by two Catholics. So Catholics who have the power to speak up about the child abuse within their own church, but who do not, because if they were to do so, they would get kicked out of it. So I think that that's very interesting. Now, I couldn't find the clip in time. I'm gonna play a different clip, but I will say this clip, it could totally be AI. I do realize that they have the capability of making people say things, but I'm gonna try to bring this clip.
I do agree with you on that end, that they are trying to push it from the real places that it is happening. But if it's happening in Colombia, then we're getting an influx of immigrants coming from the south border, and it is a problem that is coming into our country. So,
Oh, it's been country.
well, it's been in our country, but the wall was a play to try and slow it down and stop it, and it's exposing all the hypocrisy that's been going on with the left. So there's some good coming out of it. I granted it's not perfect. It's probably the only way they could do it. But to get it out there and get it mainstream and get people awake, I think it's a big step in the right direction.
Yeah.
That's what's kind of worrisome is the fact that something so big is actually being pushed into theaters and whatnot, because where are they actually directing this this anger from the citizens who are going to be watching this, whether they know about it or not? Now they will, and they're going to direct all that anger towards a specific group, not knowing that, you know, their own presidents, their own politicians, their own leaders in government have all been involved in the same satanic, corrupt actions.
Yeah.
And you know, this is just kind of a season of the psyop, whether it's Hunter Biden and cocaine in the White House, or you know, if it's Andrew Tate and you know Trump being locked up. It doesn't matter. It seems to me that all these things are government-controlled oppositions that run on to sort of gatekeep the more narrow and held back information from the rest of the public by keeping those people who get through those initial barriers back from going any further.
No, but I think those that are on the fence will do the deep dive, do the research, and find out the truth.
Maybe.
And I think that's the good thing about this movie.
Sure.
I mean, I agree, you know, it's not perfect, but it's getting it out there. And those that are on the fence of entering in the truth community and staying in, you know, the mainstream, it might actually help them to find a deep dive to go into the truth community and find out other things that they've been lied to about, like flat Earth, all the other things that we know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get that. There is positive aspects of it. But I'm not personally convinced that it outweighs the negatives. But so real quick, this is Owen Benjamin's live streaming platform, unauthorized.tv. Definitely check this out if you'd like to support him. If you don't know who he is, another free resource or another website that you can use if you want to see what type of guy he is before you feed the bear, is ladle.tv. They have a whole bunch of different other bears that do creations, but they also have Owen's streams on here, so great place to check out. Definitely suggest Owen. I love the guy. I love his information. Now, I'm going to play this really quickly, and I want to see if y'all can hear it before I continue. What were you going to say, though, Marcia?
Potty mouth.
Yeah.
He's got a potty mouth.
I will warn y'all, there is some weak words in here, but all right, let's play this part.
Also, he's on everything.
Yeah,
he's on BitChute, Rumble. There's nothing he isn't on, except YouTube.
All right, can y'all hear this? What the heck?
Nope.
Yeah, it's being.
Okay.
Hear me.
Can y'all hear that?
Yep,
You can?
I can.
Y'all can hear that?
Yep.
Frankie B, Robert?
I heard something towards the end.
I on YouTube, maybe on YouTube, but not in here. I can't.
You can't hear it in here?
No
one can hear it. Could you hear that again, Kyle?
Yep, I heard it again.
Huh?
Tension. Okay, here's getting to the bad guys.
Okay, I hear him.
Oh
very
my
low
God.
now.
What is a woman?
Oh, Jesus Christ! What is a woman? No, but we're about to show.
Okay, can y'all hear this?
I can.
Yeah, I can hear.
Heard that.
Okay.
What do you really know about what's
Oh, that's so dumb. It won't let me.
going on here? And I think most Americans are waking up to the fact that they know what the hell is going on.
What the
Owen?
heck?
Owen Benjamin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for some reason though, like just his video won't play. Let's try it again.
How long did you immerse yourself in
It will not let this play. Oh my gosh. Guys, this
I don't see it.
I didn't
I don't see- okay.
feel like anybody did.
God.
God
Oh my
said
gosh.
he did. And so I want to love him.
Sorry, people. Oh my. Literally, why is it doing this? Okay.
Bring as many souls as I could to him. So it was always in my intention.
Okay, here's getting to the bad guys.
Okay, so whatever. Of course, it's not going to let me play. Go check it out. Basically, what he goes on to say, and there's another interview which totally may be AI, but the guy asked him, like, how long did you immerse yourself in this before you were ready for the role? And he's like, 1 day. And on this other interview that he does, he basically is like, I wanted to get into the mind of this Timothy Bear guy or whatever, I forget his name. And so this actor who played Yeshua is basically admitting that he watched this same type of videos in order to, so the person that he is portraying is an investigator, and he investigates this stuff, and those videos lead to arrests. Whereas this guy, this actor watching them, is just watching them to get into the mindset of the person who actually did these investigations. And I just think that that's kind of weird. Don't y'all? Like, why would you ever watch that if you didn't have to? Like, if it literally wasn't a part of your job, like the main character, why would you immerse yourself into the world of looking at things like that? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. I just find it kind of weird.
That's what actors do. They have to
Yeah,
get into the part. They have to, sort of adapt to the character that they're trying to portray, and then act like they are them. And I don't really particularly like acting because it's just fake. How real you can make something look fake. It's
how good you can lie.
how good you can lie. It's a dishonest. In my opinion, it depends what you're doing. Okay, because there is some room for, for grace there, but it certainly seems kind of strange to practice that as your career or your hobby or whatever. Just practicing lying, essentially. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, no, I agree. And even weirder, like, okay, do people who play murderers, do they go murder someone to like get ready for the role? Like someone who is an investigator who's looking at these, very horrible images and videos. Like, what, you have to do that in order to, like, we can all imagine what is being shown and how angry that would make us. We don't have to go view it to figure out how angry that would make us.
Although they probably could be watching those horrible snuff type films or whatever to learn the part. I mean, I wouldn't put it past any of it.
You see the story of Heath Ledger, how he went when he played the Joker, and he got so immersed into the character that it screwed him up. So
Same with the dude that played the new
different, like-
Joker.
Pardon?
I said same with the guy that was playing the new Joker. Apparently, he like left everyone, was by himself for like a week or something like that, just trying to get into the role. And I mean, people were like, he's not the same.
Oh,
You've had different people like that, actors, method actors, and whatnot. That they never come out of the character during the whole time, and you know, they don't just switch it on and off. Uh,
there's a mind control where like Beyonce, she says she can't sing or
oh,
act
well,
or
there's
do
another
anything on
thing.
front
That
there
oh,
until she's on stage, and then that entity comes into her, and she can do all that.
Teresa, you remember what she what? Do you remember the name?
Oh my gosh.
She had another name. She had
Yeah,
another
she had
name.
another name. She has another name.
There were a few that had another name for that.
Yeah, and it was like
Sasha.
Kundalini and all.
Sasha.
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 Yeah, Sasha
Sasha
Fierce.
Sasha. Yeah, so
Sasha
Sasha.
Fierce.
So she left Sasha out, and yeah, it's crazy.
Alter egos.
The title of that video that you tried to play was unsuccessful playing that. About scaring the scare conservatives from having children. I mean, how many people? I mean, are like especially Christians that are always that we have hope in the future. We have hope in the eternity, but we're really scared of what tomorrow's going. And a lot of us have a hard time thinking about bringing children into this.
Good point.
So,
And that's what Owen Benjamin was basically saying is like, that's what this is for. This is going to scare people into not having children. And I think that that's so true. And another point he brought up, some information he shared, which I like blew my mind. So everyone's heard, most people have heard that 800,000 children in the United States go missing a year. Have y'all ever heard that?
A year. A year.
So listen,
year.
but 99.5% of those are children who are found within 48 hours, right? So that only leaves that 0.5 left. And then of that 0.5, the majority of that 99% of that leftover 0.5 are mostly in the southern borders. It's illegal children being trafficked through the area, and only a very small portion, 1% of that 0.5%, are actually children who get abducted, and then most of those times it's by an estranged relative, a father, a mother, something along those lines. So they paint the picture as children are getting abducted and horror stories every day, when the truth is most of that isn't happening. Right now, think about it. There may be a few anecdotal differences to this, but if y'all think about it, do y'all know someone who knows someone, or know someone who knows someone who knows someone who ever had their child abducted from them? But yet, like Robert was bringing up, it's this fear that's put out that makes it seem like it's this thing, just like asteroids, just like what is that? Quicksand, right? All these things that we thought were going to be bigger dangers in our world that are completely almost irrelevant to what we actually see going on. I don't know why my camera keeps doing that.
Now, on the other end of that, you mentioned about how you got the mainstream media. It's not really giving this movie much kudos. There's a few Christians out there that are also questioning. Mostly, they're questioning, say, like Mel Gibson. They're questioning Hollywood, and we're okay. The devil puts out a good movie. A movie that we should all go see. Should we still see it because it's a good movie? Produced by the devil. Um, and we saw the Passion of the Christ, but we know that's got definitely Catholic leanings. Can't remember the particular sect.
That was a long time ago. I wouldn't see it now.
Oh no,
We saw that years ago.
yeah, saw it just the one time. Really, didn't bought the video, never watched the video.
So here,
couldn't do it.
I think that's a good segue into something that kind of has to do with this, and but it's a good segue. So I watched it back in the day, right, and it was a very emotional movie to go through. Now, and the reason why I think it's similar is because like we can look at that movie as an example and see that good things came out of it and bad things came out of it, right? It depends on who watched it and how they interpret it and so on and so forth. But one thing that I think is interesting is, would y'all consider that an image of idolatry? Is painting a picture of Jesus the same as having an actor play the role of Jesus? Isn't that, would y'all consider that idolatry? Thoughts?
There's people, it depends on where you throw idolatry. What spectrum do you put it in? Because so if you have a graven image, if you have a statue of a frog, and it's an ornamental statue, but it's just that, and it's just sitting there in your lawn, what is that, an idol?
No.
Do you take that and you make sacrifices to it in hopes that it's going to provide for you? And now you're treating that as an idol.
Mm-hmm. And so I guess what I'm saying is you're not. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just thinking in line of saying, like, I no longer even wear a cross without Christ. I used to, I never did wear a cross with Christ on it, but I did used to have a cross which was just the cross, and then, just battling in my head whether that was correct to do, whether it was correct to have an image of Christ, not saying that I was thinking of it as an idol, but was it an image of Christ, and was that correct to do,
And so, yeah, I agree with you. Like, we had this exact conversation. I was like, oh, if we had a statue of an owl because it had, like, it went well with the aesthetics and it matched the colors, and we like owls because owls are cool animals, right? Like, does that all of a sudden make it an idol? No, because you're right. We're not doing sacrifices. There's no emotional attachment to it. We don't pray to it, etc. But when it comes to images of Yeshua, crosses, things like that, and definitely, again, and I'll bring up with the Passion of the Christ, and I'm guilty of this, guys, I'm not throwing stones, but I had an emotional thing. Like, I looked at that person as if he was Jesus. And so, not saying he is Jesus, or you know what I mean, but I'm just saying I had this emotional connection to that person from him portraying my Messiah. So I don't know. Like, I look back at it and I'm like, I don't think I'd watch that movie again. Like, if I was where I am now.
I think it just gave you an image to understand how he looked.
Well,
you know what I mean? And what he went through.
That gave you. But they had Catholic overtones, and that goes in that brain of yours. You don't understand the subtlety of what is going on.
Yeah, I didn't look into it like that. I just
no, you didn't. Most people don't, but it's happening anyway.
I just looked at it as his suffering paid for everything, and he suffered, and I'm thankful for it.
That movie.
I mean, there was some really dark undertones, like the devil in the when he was getting beat was in the background, and then the tear that came out of heaven, and the Jews mocking him, and there was some really dark, deep images in that. Yeah, there was, but it also just gave me a sense of, hey, my Yeshua suffered for me, so I don't have to suffer. And that's what I took to the bank on that.
I think if they could make that movie again without ever showing Jesus's face, if they let that part be a mystery, I think it would be a good movie. But I think them putting this handsome actor on there, well-known actor, to portray someone who, out of own scripture, was not a handsome man. Had no, like, you wouldn't think
Right,
he was
right.
he was the son of
Right.
God just by looking at him. I think there's some disservice there. Now, again, how we were talking about before, like positive and negatives. I bet you there are people out there that never really understood what Jesus went through, and they saw it, and they had a seed planted, or a sproutling emerge from that. So I'm not taking away from that, but I also think that, like Marcia is saying, that there are things intrinsically put into that video. So like when you watch that, it is, in very plain to see, it is saying that Jesus is God, right? So
Yeah,
bring up the
exactly.
Trinitary part. So there's that whole sticklet of it. So you see Yeshua, he's a man, he gets beaten, and yet you're also told that he is God. Like the same man who had poopy diapers, who became an adult, and had to poop and had to eat, like all those things. Like, to me, them saying that that is God, I have an issue with. And I'm not trying to get into a whole Trinitarian debate, but I'm just saying there are those undertones there that are pushing doctrine. So someone coming new into the faith, let's say they see it, they are also going, even though they're getting some freedom right there, they're also getting shackled a little bit, in my opinion.
I don't think anything out of Hollywood is anything that that isn't for a purpose, and it's not for our good. Put it that way.
It's all about what you take away from it, because there becomes a huge idolatrous aspect, as you're saying, seeing Jesus up on the cross. And I remember when that movie came out, I was really young and whatnot, but it was all about seeing what Jesus had suffered, that no other man on earth had suffered. And even at that time, not even in the faith or anything like that, it was just kind of a weird movie to me that was popular. I was thinking, well, didn't a lot of other people get gruesomely killed and tortured in the Bible? Like, even his disciples, some of them were put on crosses and whatnot. So it was just kind of strange to me that that it was surrounding the death of Jesus, but not really what comes afterwards or what it
Right.
was really about. And that's that whole Catholic Trinitarian aspect of it. But especially recently, coming into this realization of the priesthood, yeah, they skip a lot when they do that disservice.
Yep.
They really could have spread a much fuller, pure message if I guess if they knew it, but it seems most people don't even know it. I didn't even know it.
Yeah.
The priesthood is a huge thing. It changed so much for me. Without that, yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I know it's pretty interesting, and it takes me a lot, like this is kind of connected to it, but I'm not connecting it that much. Like Rob Skiba's Seed, and now Sean Griffin's his Days of Noah. So I do believe there's ways that you can tell stories that benefit, truth seekers, and awaken people. I think it's a very thin line, right? Because you have to, in some ways, kind of flirt with the world in order to make some of these things. Now, I'm not saying that's always true, and I'm not putting the Passion of the Christ on the same level as Kingdom of Context, Days of Noah. I'm not making that connection, but what I'm saying is, like, I do think there is a way to produce quote unquote entertainment and it be edifying for the body. It's just, we don't have the funding, right? Like, we really don't have the funding. Like, when you look,
Yeah, well, that's
when you
that's
watch
the point
Christian, when you watch, real quickly, when you watch Christian movies, right? Like, you can tell that it's a very low budget movie, and that kind of takes you out of it, right? Because you're like, I can obviously imagine a guy standing there with the camera and them saying the lines like they're reading it off a teleprompter. So, but yeah, I do think there's an importance. What were you going to say there, Frankie? I'm sorry for
Yeah,
cutting
well,
you.
it was even a miracle for that movie to come out, and they had to go with the Catholic mainstream because, you know, it's Hollywood, and it came out of Hollywood, so you're going to have to get a message across, you're going to have to follow some of their guidelines.
Some.
And they had a lot of lead, but maybe all of them. Who knows? But you know, let's not throw the whole thing in the trash because there's some good did come out of it.
Yeah,
You know, and even like that TV series, I forget what it's called with Jesus in it. What's the one? Yeah, The Chosen. I mean, that has a lot of bad in it. I mean, there's a lot of things you guys don't agree with it because, you know, but it's getting and it's self-produced. It's a small company, and they're trying to get the message of the gospel out of salvation.
What if
through
I
Christ.
showed you? What if I showed you a behind the scenes view of The Chosen being filmed and show you pride flags on the cameras?
Exactly. And you know who the biggest contributor is? Mormons.
So what my point is like, yeah, the Mormon church does a lot of good things. The Catholic church does a lot of good things. The Orthodox
Freemasons
church
do as well.
yeah, they
Right,
all
right.
do good of things, but that's not really what our judgment is. Like, our judgment isn't, oh, this will wake some people up. What it is yeah, it wakes them up, but then it puts them in a certain lane of discovery. Now, like I've said this before, there's no barricade that will stop a truth seeker, right? So
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we just got to pray for those that are on the fence that they take the deep dive and come into the truth community. And these kind of things can push them over the edge
Maybe.
to the side of righteousness.
Yeah. God,
You know what I mean? So
oh
that's the
no,
only thing we
totally.
can do. I mean, you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that a saying?
Yeah, and I'm
Did I
not
say
saying
that right, Marshall?
yeah, I'm not
You're
saying
right.
I'm not saying that we should. I'm just saying there's a very thin line. Like, I think, like, for example, with The Sound of Freedom, the imagery, the ideas that are being pushed in that, right? Like, are going to wake people up to it, but in such a skewed manner that it's
Exactly.
like maybe they think that's it. Like, for instance, someone watches The Passion of the Christ, they see how it was portrayed in the movie, and they're like, oh, I already got the idea. I don't need to read the Bible. I already have an idea, you know, presented to me by this movie. And so it can put them, I feel like, put their minds in a box, put their path in a lane, as opposed for it to being real discovery.
Yeah, but if God uses that to grab a hold of you, then you're gonna. But if God uses that to grab a hold of you, you're gonna go and you're gonna seek the truth, and you're gonna use the Bible. You're gonna use whatever things you can use out there to find the truth, and it's just letting God grab a hold of you. And if that's something that does it, the Passion of Christ or the Chosen, then
Maybe.
it's a good thing. That's the way I look at it.
I think more people are already believers or whatever that watch those things. I don't know about the Passion of Christ, but maybe I'm wrong. But nonetheless,
I agree. If 99% of it, I don't know. Like, we can't ever make these like statistics, right? But it's like, at what point does it become something we should, you know, speak out against to something that we should push, right? Like, I am never going to tell someone, hey, go watch a movie about children trafficking, right? Like, I think people who are in the know about that are going to be in the know. And I think a lot of people don't want to know. And the way that they're doing it this way, it's almost, and in the media, it's kind of weird because they're almost like, with the media that it is given, it's like, if you don't watch this, then you're supporting child abuse. And it's like, what? Like, you think because like I am saying, hey, it's probably not a good idea for us to watch these type of things, to put these type of things in our mind, all of a sudden I'm pro for those things, you know? So I don't know. It's a little weird. I do agree that there is some benefit. I do agree that there are people that are going to get scales removed from their eyes from this. So I'm not saying it's 100% evil, but I know our community is so easy to fool. Most of us were fooled by Trump, and I know a lot of people still out there in this community still support Trump, but to me, he is like, I will never vote again because of this man, because who he presented himself as to compared to who he became was so vastly different. It's like, okay, wow, they really can trick me. They really can goad me in to feel like this man is going to solve my problems. And Marsha was bringing it up earlier. No, was it Robert? Where we were talking about, you know, we love God. We know he's going to protect us. But then we have these fears, right? Like, oh, what about our children? Or what's going to happen the next day? And so, I don't know, connecting that with Trump, I think a lot of people within the truth community make excuses for this man, more so than judge his character. They don't look at the fruit, they look at his words. And I think we've gotten in trouble once. I don't want that to happen again, is my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, the whole game is rigged. I mean, why even participate? Nah, and that's where I'm at. Because if they're for them, then you know there's something wrong. If they're against them, you know there's something wrong. So I mean, it's a lose-lose situation.
Yeah.
So all we can really do is just trust in God, live our life, and know that, you know, he's going to provide for us. He's going to provide opportunities. He's going to protect us. He's going to give us awareness, how to protect our children, how to love, you know, our neighbors, how to love our enemies, and just live in that, and then let everything else work itself out. And if we get somebody in the White House that is for us, that's a plus. If not, we still have God for us, and if we have God for us, who can be against us? That's what the scripture says, right?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And a lot of people go, you know, fear porn on either side of it. And very much what you were saying is like, for instance, that I feel like a way that they tricked me with Trump is the fact that all the media, mainstream media, is despise the man. So it's like, wow, if all the people I distrust and dislike are telling me they hate someone, I should probably like that person. And I feel like they also do that with like the movies as an example. There's no media coverage. It almost makes the Streisand effect where like they're using that to say, oh, we're alternative, but it's the you know, the mainstream producing the alternative. So it's a false dichotomy where we get to choose someone for the system who's openly for the system, or someone who's for the system but openly against the system, right? But we can judge them by their fruits. A lot of the things that Trump did was for the system, not against it. It was for the powers that be, not for the people. So I think it's very dicey to just be like, well, all the media is not talking about it. All the media, so okay, they did the same thing to Trump, and we thought Trump was great. So, you know, there's my 2 cents about that thought.
Yeah, the illusion of choice is real.
Yeah, indeed. I'm going to go to chat real quick and read some comments, see what people are saying over there. My wife said the Noah movie was absolute garbage. I did see that one.
I'm going to bring that up, the Noah movie. That was garbage. But it also, with the extra guy being on the boat and that fight scene at the end, it really gives you, did anyone else get out of the flood? Because there was population after the flood. So there was a little, and that movie was horrible.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the Canaan dude, he got into the ark.
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
And not only that, right? They showed the Nephilim, the fallen angels, the giants, as being helpful. They helped.
Hopeful.
And they went back to heaven afterwards for
Uh-huh.
they all fought all gnarly at the end and whatnot, and then they'd get destroyed by something, then turned into a beam of light and go back to heaven. And it's like wait.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a pretty bad
And they
movie.
portrayed them as creatures, not giants, not giant human
Humans.
form. They were these rock creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, but that lets you know that.
And
hey,
the whole. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hold on. That lets you know that there is more to the story than we don't know. That's in the Bible, and that they have scriptures and writings that portrays another story or an add-on to the story that we have.
Well, I think that could just
be,
but that could just be placing doubt, right? Like, did it really happen the way that the scripture happened, or did it happen this way? So I think there is a fine line there. But one of the things that really perturbed me about that movie was how they made Noah look. They made literally Noah this victim who was just waiting to die, right? And he was even going to kill the new offspring because he was so depressed. But then he changes his mind, So
God changes his mind.
Yeah.
It was that God wanted all mankind dead after the flood, and basically Noah and his children were just going to live out their lives and not procreate and die. And then it was Methuselah who made his goddaughter fertile again or whatever. It's all just wicked and corrupt.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, but just the way they portrayed Noah, who literally came out off the ark and immediately set up an altar not from hewn stone and sacrificed and started obeying Torah. So to think that he was ever in that type of mode where he was a victim and everyone was just going to die and that's just how it had to be, I think it was a very big disservice to the story as a whole. All right, let's see what else says.
Somebody mentioned something about Ben-Hur. I don't know what.
I'll get down there. Yeah, show some love and click the like button. Likes, comments, subscriptions. They really do help the channel grow, add more puzzle pieces to the table. And that's what we're here for. We're here to share our puzzle pieces and get the bigger picture. So thank you, love, for that. Let's see. Dylan, I think his name is the son of the Left Behind authors. I have no idea. I think I caught your conversation midway through. My wife talking about The Shack. That's a pretty weird movie.
Yeah, that was a good movie, actually. I actually it was kind of weird, but it gave it was more Trinitarian, but it gave it a good aspect. I didn't like the way they portrayed God in it, that was kind of weird. But the theme behind it was pretty right on. The compassion of
so my wife's opinion is
the father as a woman was kind of really disrespectful to the father.
Yeah, so what my wife said, in short, is it's a book they made into a movie that's supposed to be Christians that tell the words, y'all can be whatever you want, and women can be a child, a man. So yeah, I never watched it. She read the book. She said, I never saw the movie. I couldn't even finish the book, but because what was going on. Hey Wendy, welcome sister. Glad to see you here. Johnny Cole is here as well. Welcome, brother. He says, I'm praying for you and your daughter Wendy. Pray for me too, please. Yeah, you're always in our heart, Johnny. I hope you and your family are doing good. I hope you got a new place. I hope you got a great job and everything's going well, brother. Let's see. GR Cleves is here. The Noah movie made before that was equally bad with John Brought and Mary Steenburgen. I didn't see that one. I'll have to check into that. Let's see here. I don't read anything about an extra guy getting on the boat. I was telling you right. Kyle's facials now. Sweet.
Body
All right.
language.
Oprah rated
Shucks.
Christians. Did you see that one? Oprah rated Christians.
Where?
That was me.
Hey, Oprah, right? That was you, yeah.
That's awesome. Sweet. All right. Well, let's continue the discussion. So yeah, I don't know. I think there is positives to it. I don't know if they outweigh the bads and the which way the bads are transpired or presented to the public. Well, of course, can the Father use anything to bring people out and back to Him? Yes, He could use Marvel movies to do that. He can use a whole bunch of different things. I think when we get down to the truth topics, truth movies, when we're representing God and His creation and the systems that are a part of it, I think we should tiptoe. We should walk on eggshells because it is something precious. It's something that we shouldn't make a mockery of. And I don't know. Sometimes it feels like it can. And again, back to my point where Christian conservatives are the ones sharing the most amount of Pride community news articles and videos and images and all these obscene things that happen in the world. They're the ones propagating that information more than anyone else. And so I think that is kind of a weakness of the truth community is we see bad things and we want to show everybody the bad things. And I don't know if that's always a smart idea, and I've been a part of that idea in the past. So
that's a good point. I didn't think of it as us sharing the Pride message by us being mad about it and putting posts up about it. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah,
it's just like the people during the Trump, 2016. Like, who did he get the most press from? The people who hated him. Right? They were always talking about him. So, yeah, same type of thought.
Interesting. I'm going to put that in my little head. Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Well, we can kind of jump over. Looks like everyone. I think that's it. Wife said Chris Pratt. Oh, I never transferred it. I'm silly. Saying Chris Pratt praising God. I know he sold his soul, bruh. Yeah, it is kind of interesting, right? I often wonder that people that are professed believers that are in the industries, is it like, are they using that as a way of getting, like, for instance, like, well, let's go back to Trump, right? Trump, like, oh, the Bible's my favorite book. Can you name one verse? No, I'm not going to do that. That's personal. It's like, is he claiming to be Christian because that's what gets the votes? Is Chris Pratt professing he's a Christian because that's what gets him the eyeballs to come and support him because they're supporting a Christian? Where at the same time, Chris Pratt is supporting what is his name? James Gunn, who was literally, I'll say it like this, who, what is that word? I can't think of it. Who apparently, allegedly had relations with a younger girl, right? So he's saying, no, you got to get James Gunn back to be the director. Everyone is kicking James Gunn out because he had allegedly had inappropriate relationships with a minor. And is that what a Christian would do, right? Would propagate or push up a guy who has done things obviously that aren't of the Father? I don't know. It's pretty interesting. So
I don't know. It kind of strikes me weird that God is getting a lot of press in the last year or so, and that kind of, I mean, I love God. Don't get me wrong, but when the mainstream starts to really push him and talk about him, it kind of makes my ears twitch a little bit. You know what I mean? Makes things like, what's really going on? Why are they now pushing the narrative of we need God in our, all these good things.
Make the antennas go up.
Yeah, it makes you start to wonder, why are they now pushing this into the narrative? Is it that they're trying to sway us into their way of thinking, like Vader was saying?
They always are. Always have been. Yeah.
But everything they do backfires. I mean, it's.
Well, the pendulum swings.
You know how many
right?
people walked away from Big Pharma since the scandemic? Millions and thousands. People that I know that are just tired of the medical industry.
Until the next PSYOP, until they're able to persuade the next generation of people, children, whatever it is, about the new scariest thing that will be, threatening their freedom and their future and their lives and whatnot. Next, you'll have a new Greta Thunberg telling you, "How dare you?"
Yeah. Yeah, but it seems like everything they do just backfires, which is good for us.
Yeah.
I don't think it backfired that much. I still see people walking around with masks.
Yeah, well, them people are unsavable. There is some people that just, are just, they believe everything that they're told. They have no idea that everything they're being told is a lie. You know what I mean?
Well, they could wake up, because I believed everything for a long time.
Yeah, and I was telling y'all a little bit ago, we have a family friends, a couple who are multi-generational in the Mormon church, and literally just the Mormon church asking them to put on a mask, or saying you need to put on a mask, is what woke them up. They were full everything, and now they're like, what's the earth? What's pharmakia? What's, their eyes are opening and expanding, and it's so beautiful to see that. So I'm not taking away from what you're saying. I definitely think these events, but also, like, let's look at history. Like Rome, their things didn't always. Well, I guess you know what, they kind of did backfire, right? Because, like, I don't know. As long as we're willing to have Rome collapse and us still be, not to not go crazy from that, right? Because, like, what I was gonna say to make what I just said make sense was, like, well, did it really always not work? Because Rome literally was destroyed from within because of the type of behaviors that they were practicing, the type of things that were condoned within the society. So it's like, is that really them swinging where so much that they lose the entire, society, where it gets fractured, and now there's all these, people vying for the power and things like that. So I don't know. I don't know if it really ever does swing back, and okay, so we are all faithful people, but we also know, at the end of times, things are going to get really bad, right? Whether you're preterist or not preterist, like, when it's coming to the conclusion, things are going to get really bad on Earth. So we know that the pendulum isn't going to swing back where we're going to have freedom, right? Until the Messiah comes, until he just kicks that pendulum off, and there will be no back and forth. It will be good for always, for those who, practice his behaviors. But I don't know. It's a very weird. Like I said, it's a very thin line on what is good and what's bad, if that makes sense.
Well, it seems like their debauchery always is the downfall to them. Like Rome, if you're bringing up Rome, all their debauchery was their downfall, and they ended up collapsing. So all these elites and one percenters that are doing all this debauchery, it's eventually going to be their downfall, and the exposure of it, and the crumbling of their kingdom. You know what I mean?
I think there's a phrase for it in scriptures. I don't remember what it is, but their iniquity has gross something. Has waxed full or something. I don't know what it is, but they'll say the iniquity of the Amorites is full, and then judgment comes.
Yeah, well, there's a verse that says, "Whatever a man sows, he shall reap." If you sow to your flesh, you're going to reap corruption. If you sow to the spirit, you'll reap eternal life. So that's a law. That's a spiritual law. And if you continually do debauchery and continually sow to your flesh, you're going to reap destruction. Whether you call it judgment or whatever you want to call it, it's going to work out that way. That's a spiritual law that God put into effect, and you're bringing it on yourself by living that lifestyle.
Yeah, and that's, I think there is, back to the pendulum swings, like I can see where a lot of people are kind of waking up to the pride community, in ways, right? But in other ways, they kind of dismiss it. But the reason why I bring that up is because I think, for a lot of the children that are being abused within the pride community, and as they grow up and as things start to be realized, I think they're actually that community is creating their own destruction, because these children who have been brainwashed and, what is that? Not pampered, you're grooming, they're grooming these children and stuff. These children are going to get older. They're going to become adults, and they're going to be pissed, right? They're going to be pissed at the lie that was sold to them. And I think that, like I was saying, they're creating their own destruction, which is exactly what you're saying, right? If you reap debauchery, you're going to sow debauchery. You're going to reap destruction. And so I think that's what they're doing. And that's why I have such a problem with the quote unquote conservative Christians that are constantly, that's all they're talking about is the pride community and what the pride community is doing, and about the story times, at the libraries and stuff. And it's like, me personally, I haven't seen that anywhere where I live.
Don't give it any power. They're giving it power. They're giving it power by talking about it.
Yep.
And they're giving their energy over to it.
Well, I never thought. I'm so glad you said something, Vader, because I didn't think that way. But now I'm gonna.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. Like, we all did this, like, in the Alex Jones era of our learning, right? Where, they're making the frogs gay. They're poisoning in the air. We went through this, like, mental beatdown of how they were beating us, right? And we would then share that with other people. Be like, what do you mean you don't want to wake up and know that they're going to put us in concentration camps? What do you mean you don't want to know that they're poisoning our water, right? And it's like, because we were coming at it from almost an aspect of victim mentality, like they are doing this to us. And I think that goes along with, like, there's a point of bringing up things that are bad that are happening. But it just seems like nowadays that, like, it's almost like they can't get us. Like, if we hear Democrats talk about it, let's say not us, but like the random, Christian conservative, that's what, I don't know. I don't know how much y'all spend time on YouTube, how much y'all look into politics, but all the people that are propagating quote unquote Christian conservatives are propagating, all they're talking about is the pride community and what the pride are doing and pronouns and all of this stuff. And it's like, I would not know as much as I do about that community if it wasn't for the, Steven Crowders and the Blaze TVs and the etc.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, I listen to Alex Jones during the week.
Right.
And it's just propaganding all the bad things that are going on. And you're giving over your energy when you listen. I listen to it for entertainment because he's kind of funny. And just to know what's really going on, the news of everything. And a lot of it, I'm like listening to. It's like, dude, you're like blowing everything way out of proportion with some of the things he comes up with. But a lot of it is funny, so that's one of the reasons.
Yeah. Yes, Alex Jones is entertaining at the least, even if he is a gatekeeper meatball.
Yeah, he's part of the team.
I don't know if y'all saw that recently. Owen Benjamin was actually on InfoWars for the first time in a while. It was actually quite comical to watch the way that Owen Benjamin like kept deflating Alex Jones. It was hilarious.
Post that up in the.
Yeah, I'll do that in the after show. There's also, I don't know if y'all saw the interview with Kanye and Alex Jones. That was hilarious. Anyways, sweet. So Marsha, you were talking about earlier. You may have stepped away, but I don't know who those have seen. Just let's take a second to talk about space. They said all these northern states were going to be seeing the northern lights. And Marsha, did you see the northern lights?
I went out there. In fact, this is how I don't even know much of anything going on. Somebody DM'd me and says, "Can you see the lights?" And I go, "What? I don't even know what lights you're talking about." So the northern lights, and I go. So I stepped outside and I looked, and I had clear skies, and I looked everywhere, and I saw just a dark sky. No color. I was even looking for the smallest little color, whatever I could find, but I saw nothing. And I did that for about an hour, from about 10:30 to 11:30, kept checking, and nothing. So, and all of Washington was to be able to see it. That's because I had to look it up. And so I went and Googled it, and and it said all of Washington was supposed to be able to see it. I couldn't see it. Did anybody see it?
Yeah, I would like for those who were in those states who were supposed to see it, if you did see it, say, yeah, I saw it. If you did not see it and you were supposed to see it, let us know, and chat, and we'll kind of get an idea. But look at this when I'm screen sharing. We got one from King 5 News saying where you could see the northern lights in Washington Friday. That was 1 day ago. But then 4 days ago, Washington Post said northern lights unlikely to be seen in most states this week, expert says. So what is it? We are going to be able to see it, or we aren't going to be able to see it? And then they have something what you need to know about seeing the northern lights from Washington. So this is my thing is, I haven't done much research into this. I don't know how many people have or have not seen it that are supposed to be seeing it. But what my point is here in this picture where it says Northern Lights unlikely to be seen. Where was it? Oh, this one. Missed the Northern Lights last night? Here are the pictures of the spectacular Aurora Borealis showing. So how much you want to bet that these pictures could just literally be CGI'd? And people would not know the difference. They would be like, oh, I never saw it, but yet they would still believe that it happened because they see these pictures saying that it did happen.
It could be archive pictures too. Who knows?
That's right. Could be archive. Could be.
And how would you even know that was in the state that they said they were saying it was?
Well, I'm in Washington, and the whole state was supposed to be able to see it, and I confirm it was dark and no northern lights.
So it says, look at this. Right here it says, wedding photographer Sean Crum said he was on a trip through the 4 national parks and stopped in Voyageurs National Park in Minnesota on July 14th. He was supposed to be in the dazzling display, looked like fog, but around 1 a.m. Central Time, he went outside with his camera. Unfortunately, the northern lights weren't really visible to the naked eye, he wrote, but a 10-second exposure brought them out of hiding. Used a 30-second long exposure for the Milky Way. So they're either saying, guys, you can see these, but then this photographer is saying, no, you can't see it with the naked eye. You would need to expose your camera for 10 seconds in order to be able to see it. So very interesting. And that, don't they get you to do that? They tell you you're going to see it. you don't see it, and then they explain it. Well, you could have seen it, but you didn't do it the right way. It was there, you just didn't know it was there. But
I should have put on my 3D glasses. I still have some, and seen if I could see them.
But what are y'all's thoughts about why they're making such a big deal? Because this isn't the first time I've seen a post like this where they're saying, "Oh, these states are going to be seeing the Northern Lights." What are y'all's thoughts about why it's happening? Like, if it actually is happening, or if they're just using it as a topic. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
They're always claiming it has to do with solar flares and the sun's in its solar maximum cycle for 11 years, and it's spewing these coronal mass ejections towards the Earth and all this nonsense. So there's a little bit of fear porn that goes on with it. I truly don't know what the actual phenomenon is from. I'm assuming it has something to do with the North Pole, but to say that this is from the sun is ridiculous.
Well, if there was those lights that I could see them, it happened after I quit looking at 11:01 on. But no, I saw nothing. And Idaho was supposed to see them too. Nothing.
Maybe they just want to program you to start looking up
Well,
for the aliens.
I almost was upset that I didn't even know about these lights, and I went out and started looking, and I almost thought, this is probably a ritual to get us all out there doing this stuff, and I just participated because there was nothing. I don't know what they're up to.
They're putting energy into you looking up, and they're seeing how many people will do it, and they're putting it on Facebook. They're checking social media.
So you don't think there's any other? You don't think there's any other like bigger purpose other than just to like see what they can do, like see if they can get people to look up,
sure,
etc.
Well, it's a precursor to the alien invasion. They're going to get you to look up.
Well, it's all kinds of things. You can peel back
You
layers.
fell for it. You'll be looking for the aliens, Marsha.
It happened at 11:02. G.R. Cleve said, "Yep, it probably did."
Yeah, I think it's interesting when they pull those type of things. I obviously don't know what like Kyle said, Ethereal Creations. I don't know what the Borealis is. I do think there's some connection with it talking about the way that it describes the Father's throne, and it talks about the emerald lighting and stuff. So that's kind of interesting, but when it specifically comes to why, I don't know. I just think it's weird when they do those type of things. And when in this model, right, there's no way we'd ever be able to see it, but yet they're saying we can see it. So I wonder if it has something to do with cosmology as well, like something they're trying to push.
You know what? Another thought, Vader, and I just thought of this, was I out there looking, and they've got something else going on. I'm not seeing it, but I'm staring for it and staring for it. And they've got something else going on in the sky that's doing it. Something to all of us that are staring at.
Or what if it's like kind of along the same lines? Like, what if they're testing some invisible, aircraft, and they get everyone to look, and no one sees anything, and they're like, "Nope, we didn't see it," and they're like, "Perfect, that's exactly what we wanted to hear." That's interesting.
That's true too. True also. Yeah.
Sweet. I looked up space. Of course, if anyone has anything they'd like to talk about, please bring it up. I'd love to bring up stuff. Oh, okay. Here we go.
See if you can pull that. See if you can open up that video that I sent you.
I'm gonna have to get out of some stuff to do that, but give me a second. Nubs Revenge, welcome, brother or sister. Said, what about the fires in Canada? I haven't seen too much about it. What I do know about it is that the Canadian government is not helping any of the farmers who are affected by it. So what that specific, obviously that sucks for those farmers and they're not getting help. Why Canada is letting it happen, I feel like it might have to do with restructuring. Like if a whole bunch of infrastructure burns, well, then they can go in there with, bulldozers and build what they want to build. So I don't know if it's that, if it's punishment to the farmers, the people who are kind of going against the authority there. I'm not
Well,
sure.
from what I'm hearing, the next phase is food shortages. So they're going to be attacking the crops. They're already doing it in the Netherlands, which are a big supplier of the food. South America, Canada, all these places that supply us our food. They're actually trying to create shortages so that we are more compliant to their wishes. So that I think that is the next attack that they're leaning in,
Yeah, that's
which
what
would make sense.
that's
They're
what
always-
Country Fun said. She said feels like they do. It has to do with future food shortages. Yeah, my wife says they're attacking the bees. Yeah, like those are totally valid. Valid things.
Yeah, bees are a big thing for the for the ecosystem, and if they're attacking the bees, that could be detrimental to the wildlife in all these areas.
Yeah, it's only going to get worse too.
Babe,
So.
you had mentioned something before. Please write it in the chat. I think she said something where they actually officially approved lab grown meat to be sold.
Yeah, that's going to be all your fast food meats. It's all going to be lab grown, and restaurants, and major chain supermarkets, Walmart.
Do you
Target,
think they'll have to list it as such?
No, actually, they passed a law. I heard this week that they don't have to list it. The FDA approved it, that they don't have to list it as lab grown meat.
That's insane.
Well, I heard it on Alex Jones, so I don't know how truthful it is, but that's what I've heard.
TD said we live about 30 minutes from Canada here in Michigan. The smoky haze lingered for about a month. It was weird, and I agree. It has some nefarious agenda. Very interesting. They do not have to tell us that it's lab grown. That's literally insane. Country Fun said when you think farms, also think your seeds and grains. Yeah.
Well, they didn't have to put anything in the vaccines. They didn't even have to list the ingredients in that. So, you know,
Yeah.
they can do whatever they want.
I love it. They had the inserts, but then you open up the insert and it's
Insert was
blank page.
empty.
That's insane.
Yeah, they're really trying to depopulate this planet. There's too many people for them to control. They want to be able to control us.
Johnny Cole saying genetically modified and genetically altered is different to the FDA somehow, and bioengineered. Yeah, it's insane.
GMO and GM what?
They said genetically modified and genetically altered is different. The FDA there is a difference for sure.
Yeah, because like if, for instance, if you're going to genetically alter something versus modify it totally, like you can choose certain genes that you want to, isolate in something, and then you can breed those genes in, but it's going to lose information from other genes when you do that. So it's not like it's becoming a whole new thing. But when you genetically modify an organism, you go in at the genetic DNA level and tinker with it, oftentimes adding foreign DNA from totally different things, whether that be vegetables or animals. It's really weird what they can do. So, yeah, I see that there's a difference.
Nub's Revenge said, if you learn which weeds to eat and the ones that heal you, you will have a stack up. I would love to learn more about that. If you have any resources that you would like to share, any YouTube channels, love to see that. My lovely wife said, discard your Cheerios, poison, stay away from General Mills. Which reminds me, I don't know if y'all saw that, but the USDA recently put out a new food pyramid, And the things that they have listed at the top, guys, they have Lucky Charms listed as a healthy breakfast.
That is one of my favorite cereals. You guys, that's horrible.
Well, but what my point is,
how dare you take my Lucky Charms from me, you truthers?
Let's see this. I think it's processed foods.
This is why I hate all you truthers. You're taking my Lucky Charms, darn it.
Let's see what this brings up. Yeah, so this is a article.
Soylent Green, yeah.
Misleads.
They probably are already.
You got an article on Soylent Green?
No.
They probably are using.
Hey, Marcia, do you remember when that movie came out?
70 something.
Did you go see it? I mean, it was like 50 cents to go to the movies when we were growing up.
Oh, I don't think I.
But I did see that in the movies theater.
No, I saw it on TV, so maybe it came out in the.
I mean, because we had nothing else to do, and you get 50 cents off your grandmom, and you would go to the movies. A bunch of us went to the movies together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
You hear me?
I didn't go to movies at all when I was a kid because my mom raised all 5 of us on her own from the 50s.
So you didn't have the money.
We would stomp around. We would stomp around in Ivy and things like that for Coke bottles because you'd get 3 cents for a Coke bottle if you turned it in.
Yeah, we my grandparents were union workers, so we were actually pretty privileged.
Oh.
Yeah, my grandfather was in the he worked for a beer distributor. He was a union beer guy, and my grandmom was a seamstress, so we always had plenty.
Or we had a home, and
we were rich compared to other people.
Yeah, my mom would tear down my older sister's dresses to fit me because she'd remake them.
My grandma would sew all her daughters' dresses. She would make their dresses. So, because she was a seamstress.
Yeah. My mom was a legal secretary, but back in those days.
So was my mom. My mom was a legal secretary too.
Yeah, she worked for the San Jose city of San Jose. But the thing is that back in that time, boy, that made her smart though. Women, were paid differently than men. So, but she raised all 5 of us quite well. But she made everything. She made everything by hand. We didn't. My first bought hamburger, the whole car was going for joy. They were 5 for $1, and she says, "I'm going to treat you guys." And I think we went nuts. I think I was probably 10, and then I never got a hamburger again until bought one. Till McDonald's came out, and I used my lunch money to go get it.
So here's the chart that it was talking about. So it says, within the 4 aforementioned paper, Beal and the other nutrition scientists who challenged Food Compass, including an example chart that they had made. To be clear, this specific chart was not created by Food Compass, but did mix together the system's actual scores for 24 various types of foods out of many of the items in the data. This chart, which shows Lucky Charm with a higher healthfulness rating than ground beef, was the same as the one published by Good Ranchers. So here it says frosted mini wheats is more healthy than orange juice with calcium. Frosted.
I love frosted mini wheats. I like the strawberry ones.
Lucky Charms is equal to nutritional value as whole wheat bread.
Yeah, they're whole wheat. Not the
skinless chicken breast is only 1 point higher in nutrient value than Lucky Charms.
That is, what a bogus. That is the worst. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and frosted mini wheats are better for you than ground beef.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna call a lie on that one. Come
Oh
on.
my
And honey nut Cheerios is better for you than a boiled or poached egg.
Oh my God. Eggs are the best. Whatever.
Frosted mealworms, guys.
Hey, I found a diner here in Jersey that does farm fresh eggs. They do farm fresh eggs, fresh squeezed orange juice, homemade meats,
Homemade meat.
homemade bread. They make their own rye and their own sourdough bread.
Awesome.
Yeah, but are they using flour or they milling their own grain? Because it doesn't.
I doubt if they're milling their own grain, but it's one of the best diners I've ever been to.
Nice.
Well, that's good.
I love diner food. Don't take my one passion away, Marcia.
I'm not. Eat what you want.
Sweet.
So how many flags you think we're gonna get for this stream, Evader?
Nothing.
Hopefully 0. But we're not really crossing any of YouTube's guidelines, so that's good. But apparently my stopped working.
Did you see if that video works for you? Because it says deleted on my end.
Here, let me do something real quick.
Let me try open it up into Discord. Hold on.
Gotta go to this screen real quick. Sent it.
Marsha, oh, sorry.
I'm trying to open it up. Twitter.
Yeah, it says not contact not.
Yeah, it says something went wrong. Try to reload.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can watch it from Discord. Nope, I cannot watch the video.
Tweet has been taken down.
Dang. Let's bring this back up.
Well, what it was a swimming pool with the space station in it. Now it was elaborate. It was a huge swimming pool with all the space station stuff, a ramp going into it, so that they could dive in. Their outer space, their swimming space, got taken down off of Twitter.
Well, that's just them practicing to show weightlessness.
That's how they practice when they're in space. Yeah, we know.
Okay, let me bring this up.
That's what their $1 billion a day is going to build a giant space station under a swimming.
Yeah, we've seen it before. They even show you, right? They just don't connect it.
Did you see the video of they're in the space station and they're talking, they're doing an interview, and the glass of water's not moving, and the water is in the glass, and everything else is floating except for the glass of water?
No.
That's a funny video. And some Glober post in there. Well, it's a solid matter. It won't float.
Hey, where's your background there, Robert? You left our space station background.
That's where we're going next, space.
Apparently my camera doesn't work.
There you go. Roger's there right now. He could do it like that.
There he is.
Okay, 1 second, guys. I am going to bring this up. I got...
Is that a floating can of Pepsi? Hey, I work for Coke.
Never mind my hand.
Start drinking Coke. Come on, man. Keep me in business.
So apparently...
Not a Bud Light.
Apparently it doesn't want to work for me.
Yeah, even the LGBT community isn't drinking Bud Light. They're getting beat up so bad.
Aw.
Did y'all see that on the stream? If y'all watch the stream, y'all see the little thingy I made for like, comment, share,
I don't
subscribe.
see anything on YouTube.
You'll see it in
I
a
don't
second.
see streaming.
Oh, you're saying our stream isn't on?
Well, nobody
it's on YouTube right
just,
now.
Yeah.
Look at YouTube right now. You'll see it. Little logo.
Oh, okay. Did Roger? Robert?
Do the scrubber? What?
Did his little Pepsi can show, or was it not
Oh.
there? I don't know if I saw
It was
it.
kind of working. It was kind of not working.
Oh, it's funny.
And
It's
apparently,
funny.
my camera just all of a sudden stopped wanting to work, guys. I literally have no idea why it's doing that. But sweet. All right. Well, that's all the stuff that I had to bring up, and we got about 7 minutes, so I think that was a pretty good Jubilees. We had a great conversation. Lots of people. Lots of people chatting in the live chat. Good to see you all having conversations. And Nubs, if you're interested, do not have Discord. Never mind, thingy though. Discord is a pretty simple. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but what you do, you're super good. So all you have to do is go to the description of the video. There'll be a link for it. You'll just follow that link. You'll create an account, and they'll bring you into the Discord.
Welcome.
After the Discord, just remember, after the live stream in Discord, we have to do an after show so we can talk about a lot more things that won't get flagged by YouTube and get our channel deleted. So if you're interested in that after show, it starts at 15 minutes after the stream ends. So definitely check that out. But yeah, I had a lot of fun, guys. I hope y'all had joy with the conversation. If we missed any of your comments, if you'd like to add anything, please add that as a comment below in the video. We will read it off next week, and it helps the channel grow. So we really do appreciate those comments, the likes, the subscriptions, and the shares. But yeah, let's go ahead and say our goodbyes, and then we will catch everyone after the stream in Discord. So I'll start with you, Marcia, if you'd like to go ahead and say goodbyes.
Goodbye, everyone. It was a fun Jubilees, and always a pleasure. So,
thank you, sister. And Robert?
Buddy,
okay.
running the show.
You're breaking up.
I'm having trouble since I got a.
See, now you're living in my world, Robert, where everything works fine, and then as soon as you try to do a live stream, all of a sudden you have all these technical issues.
Maybe you take your background down. Is that making that happen?
That's part of
It might be. Sweet. All right. Well, we'll jump over to Kyle, A3O Creations, if you'd like to say your piece, brother.
Thanks for having me on again. It's always a blessing. See you guys next episode.
Oh, yeah. Sweet. And we got Frankie B, if you'd like to say your goodbye, sir.
Yeah, just if you're on the fence, do the research. There's a ton of it out there on every subject we talked about tonight. Do a deep dive into the scriptures, into the YouTube, and find out the truth, for the truth shall set you free. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Have a great evening, and don't forget, dig deep.
Yep, absolutely. That's what we're here for, guys. We're here to share our puzzle pieces, to take those puzzle pieces, compare them to what we have, and in love walk with each other through this fellowship, in this community, as we are all truth seekers, as we're all on our path to the Father. We're all on our path to salvation, and so we should support one another and not quickly, put people down because they're not on the same path as us. We need to walk in that humility, walk in that love, and be different from a lot of the people that condemn us for our beliefs. And so we thank you all for being here. We thank you all for the support that you give the show, that you give the community. We really do enjoy it. Until next time, remember that ABBA loved you first. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Have a great night. Bye, everyone.
It's your glory, conceal the mystery. You give us the honor. research a matter. You raise up a standard.